have discovered the Marry Your Best Friend podcast, episode 2. Yes, we're doing a second episode. I'm John Stewart, and I'm sitting next to my lovely bride of 33 years, Suzanne, and we are terrible parents.
Yes, we are.
So that's what this episode is going to be about. We are terrible parents.
We are.
And yeah, none of our kids are self-sufficient. First off, we've been blessed with 3 wonderful kids. 2/3 of our kids. Well, we got
2/3.
So we have 3 kids. The oldest one got married. We're happy about that. We love our daughter-in-law. But
We do.
you have done everything for them as a mom.
I am a failure. Yes. I have done it all.
I wouldn't say you're a failure, but I asked Jay Daniel the other day. So Andrew's our oldest son. Then we have Jay Daniel, Jay Daniel's 23 and has a great job, full-time.
He doesn't want you to
full-time
talk about him.
I know. So sorry.
Yeah.
Hopefully
You're not supposed to mention his name.
I'm not supposed to mention his name. Anyway, son number 2 has a great job.
Yeah.
And lives at home.
Shall be unnamed.
And I asked him not too long ago, I said, son, you can move out if you want to. And I said, I don't want you to think that you have to live with us. And he said, Dad, it's advantageous for me to live at home right now.
Advantageous.
Yeah. And I said, no shit. Because like your mom cooks for you in the morning and does your laundry and all this kind of stuff. So advantageous. And actually we're terrible parents in the fact that I don't even want him to move out. Like I love him being here.
He's pretty awesome.
Oh, he's the one that takes care of the animals when I'm gone. He's the one.
He helps me go get feed. He unloads the car.
And he walks down the stairs and he holds out his arms and says, "Hey, Mom."
He's a hugger.
Yeah. How are you today? How are we doing on those waffles?
Yeah.
So
there's waffles coming.
But they're not self-sufficient. But we as parents have actually built him a 2-bedroom suite here at the house.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him to move out.
To lure him to stay.
Is that horrible? I mean, all these people want to like have their kids out of their house, and like we're kind of happy having them here. Like I never want them to leave.
Them.
Oh yeah, we also have a daughter at home. So my daughter. I always tell people we're great parents to 2 kids. Unfortunately, God gave us 3. Yeah. So our daughter is 19, and I guess she should go nameless too.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be on.
We'll just call her Princess. But
she is a princess.
She is awesome, but she is a little high maintenance, and I kind of do dread. I pray every day for whoever marries her. I hope that he's a strong person, but
and that he has lots of money for all of the things,
all the things,
all the hair appointments, the nail appointments.
Oh God. The reality is, when she does get married, they're moving into our house.
Oh, that'll never work.
You don't think so? Well, our kids. First off, remember the book when we were first pregnant with our oldest son. When we first found out we were pregnant, everybody gave us the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
There was nothing in there that I expected that happened. Well, can I just say?
But that was the book that everybody gave during the 90s. It was What to Expect When You're Expecting. But nobody has written the book, What to Do When You're a Parent of a 25-year-old. Like, I have no idea if we're doing too much, if we're doing too little, if other parents are like doing more than us and we have to keep up, or I don't want to be the parent.
Are they okay by themselves? Do we need to check on them? Are we supposed to call them? Do they call us?
They do call. Your kids call you all the time.
They do.
The only time my kids ever call me is like when the Netflix account is not working.
Yeah, Dad, what's the password?
No, it's like when my credit card got swapped out or whatever, and Chase had to give me a new credit card. Like I never hear from my kids, and like within like 30 minutes, Dad. I got 3 phone calls from my kids, texts, phone calls, and I mean, I think we're terrible parents because our kids, we pay for the cell phone bills, even for our married kid, and they still don't answer the phone when we call them.
Well, hey, he may not answer it when you call, but when Mama calls,
he
get the answer. Absolutely, yeah. In fact, a famous quote from the eldest is, "Mom, you never answer your phone. I'm going to buy a lanyard so that you can put it around your neck because you never know where your phone is." He needs to get in touch with me 24/7.
But what I don't understand is like why they answer your calls but never answer mine. I mean, literally.
And they call me at like midnight. They call me on the way home.
No, but what happens with me is I make a phone call. I really need them. Let's say the house is on fire, and
Sheriff
or that's a great story to tell at some point. But No, for some reason I have to reach my child, or something is happening. Somebody's coming to our house. I need some, and I know he's here, and I
We're
call
locked
him.
out. That has happened.
Yes, it has.
I'm locked
There's
out.
no
Please answer
response.
your
There's
phone.
no phone call, and then after like 5 phone calls, you may get a text that says, "What do you want?" It's like, I want you to pick up the damn phone. Like, I'm paying for your phone. Pick up your phone. And then I get a text back. Well, just tell me what you want right here. It's like, what is wrong with this generation that they don't want to answer the phone?
There's a lot wrong with the generation. There's just so much.
The first thing is,
there's so much to unpack right there.
Our podcast is going to be viewed by people, the one people that listen to our podcast, the one people who's above 40 and less than 60. So that's kind of our window here. So I think other people might have this same question of, why don't our kids like to talk on the phone? Instead, it's all texting. But I mean, let's talk about when they were growing up. We did everything for them. We went to
we did everything for them. How about we do everything for them? Let's talk about. So we just moved your mom.
We did
here from Texas to Indiana, and she is comfortable and living in a fantastic community.
It's wonderful.
She's thriving. She's doing well. She does not drive, however, because she is 89 years old and she shouldn't have to drive.
We don't want her to drive.
We don't want her to. Who is her driver? That would be me. Our 19-year-old also does not drive.
Well, but yeah.
Who is her driver?
Well, you are.
That would be me. Our 23-year-old does not drive.
But he can drive. He
can.
He drive.
Chooses not to for right now, and there are extenuating circumstances. But who is his driver?
Well, it's you.
That would be me.
You're really good at that.
Yeah. So our daughter has decided that she thinks that the not assisted living, but the senior community is her goal because it is awesome.
Well, she's 19 and she sees my mom in her 2-bedroom apartment, and there are 3 meals a day downstairs. All you have to do is get on the elevator and go downstairs, and
she likes to get her blowout once a week.
You get your hair done every Wednesday. My mom gets her hair done.
Bingo! You win a prize.
But if you think about everything we did with them, I mean, like, we took them. If you think about when they were kids, we did everything. Like Clifford, remember Clifford? We went to Bear in the Big Blue House. And
waited in line forever.
Oh my gosh, we went to Disney on Ice. We did everything for them. And then we read that book. You remember the book Slacker Mom?
I do remember.
The whole point of the Slacker Mom was that parents do too much for their kids, and the kid that has 1 toy or 3 toys takes better care of their toys than a kid who has 1,000. And we totally failed at that.
I remember. Can I just tell this memory here? One year we were living in Grapevine, Texas, and the kids were little. I don't even think Julian was born yet. I think the boys were small, and you had fallen off the roof.
Yeah, I remember
and
that
broken
$80,000 elbow.
Yeah, broken.
That's why my arm still doesn't straighten out.
Yeah,
like I
shattered
can't do
your
a lot
elbow.
of jobs because I have a broken elbow.
And it was right after Thanksgiving that weekend, and so Christmas was rough, just rough, doing all the things, and you were out of commission and whatever. But somehow you and your dad made it to Sam's, I guess, and I didn't know about that. I had worked really hard to stay on budget. I had really done all the things, to make it work for the boys for Christmas that year. And when I got up, amazingly, I found, let me see, there were Game Boys and all kinds of games and things under the tree. And I said, what is all this? And you just simply replied, Christmas miracle. Yeah. Christmas miracle. Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah, and then
because you just swooped in and did it.
This isn't about the kids, but then the next year, when we were opening presents, all of a sudden you opened up a brand new pair of boots, and I looked at you and said, "Wait, I don't remember getting those boots." And you said, "Christmas miracle."
Christmas miracle.
So that's kind of a tradition that every year we get our own selves Christmas miracles. But back to the kids. You like how I say we did all the work?
Yeah, that's really.
Well, we did collectively. I mean, like, I may have driven them once and you did 100 times, but collectively, that's the we. But
we did. Okay.
But everything that we did for our kids.
Whatever makes you happy.
Think about all the things that our kids as adults still don't know how to do. Like, I failed. I did not teach my boys how to shave. Like
No,
I
but
remember
you are
watching.
very good to take them and have them get a shave.
Yeah, like once a month. I mean, my lord, it's like we have cavemen as kids. But I mean, it's like, but no, what's interesting though is like I remember being a kid watching my dad shave, and my dad gave me the
It's a
razor.
different generation.
But my dad gave me the. You're right. They didn't have all the entertainment. My dad shaving was my entertainment.
Yeah, yeah.
But he had the old razor, and he took the razor blade out, and he would like let me mock shave. I
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
shaving cream, and I never taught the boys how to shave.
I
And
think we took for granted the fact that we knew how to do stuff, and that how did they not know how to do it?
Okay, but then Julianne. I mean, Julianne. Okay, I really don't want anybody to tell her this, but she doesn't know how to ride a bike.
Well, now,
I failed. Like I remember.
no, that's not true. She has some.
Well, we moved. First off, we moved
issues.
here. Okay, we moved here when she was 1, I guess, and so
Mhm.
we have a gravel driveway.
2 in this house. Yeah,
2 in this
the
house. So we
farm.
moved to the Stewart farm when she was 2, and for her 3rd birthday, we bought 2 ponies. I remember that. And that was for her 3rd birthday party.
She can ride a horse, but she can't ride.
Yeah. But what's funny is like I couldn't teach her how to ride a bike on gravel. So like I tried it out there on the street, and then she never really got it, and so we just kind of gave up. She had to really, and then she got to the age like 6 or 7 when like no kid should be riding a bike with training wheels. So we just kind of gave up.
Well, I think too, a lot of that is she does have extenuating circumstances with her physical.
I get that, but still, mom and dad kind of felt it.
Hindrances. Yeah, we didn't.
Okay, let me think of another one. Here's another one. I feel so sorry for Natalie who married our son because we never really taught him. We never really taught him like when you get out of the shower, you should like shake off the water before you get out. It's like I can't even imagine. I hope
Dude would come down with like dripping hair.
Well, no, it's just. But the simple lesson of when you turn off the shower, like shake off the water in the shower and then like get your towel and dry off in the shower. He just full on just like
is wet.
Is wet.
Just wet. Yeah.
Just pop out of the shower and there's water all over the floor, all over the kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're really spilling it.
Yeah, we kind of
we're
are.
Bad.
I wonder if we're the only parents who have sword marks on the walls of their bathroom.
Yeah, we just recently had the house painted, and the painter went upstairs and he was like, "Wow, what are these?" And they were these big like cuts into the wall. And I said, "Well, that's where our son used to stand in front of the mirror and practice his sword stances." And he would, swish, swish with his sword against the wall.
But not teaching my kids to shave, letting them have the long hair. I don't know.
Letting him have the long hair. Can we just talk about me taking him to get a haircut?
Sure.
There were many times that I stood outside the car door, and I would, with the little key fob, I would unlock it and he would lock it. I would unlock it and he would lock it. I would unlock it and he would lock it. He was not getting out to get a haircut. No way, no how.
Yeah. Well,
drag him in. We actually got kicked out of a salon here in Noblesville.
Really?
Yeah. She only cut half of his hair. And then she looked at me and she goes, I was just telling him to shut up, sit down, let her cut his hair, blah, blah, blah. He was all over me. And I said, that's it. I'm done. You just get your hair cut. And the lady looked at me and she said, I cannot take this negativity. This is too much for me. I'm just going to have you get out of my chair and
Lord,
go.
she needs a safe place.
Oh, yeah. So totally kicked us out of the salon. One half of his hair was cut. One half. And so I had to go to Mamaw and say, which Mamaw is by the way, my friend's mom who does hair. And I said, can you please just fix it? Totally kicked out.
I wonder why. I mean, we've raised cavemen. Like and that's good. I will tell you the one thing that I think, and some people who might watch this we want our kids to be happy. I think at the end of the day, we just want
they're super happy.
They are super happy. And Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs really changed our kids' lives. The 2 boys, both of them are Eagle Scouts. They're both 10-year 4-H members. They're incredible kids. They go to church. I'm proud of my boys. But when they went to the National Scout Jamboree in 2013, and Mike Rowe said something that changed their lives. They said, we're sending kids to colleges they can't afford to prepare for careers that no longer exist. And, both of us, we're both college educated. We both,
I was a teacher. I just thought that's what you did. You went to college.
When our boys discovered And the fact that Micro said, you can be a tradesperson and make a great living, and you can own your own business. And the one thing Dirty Jobs taught a lot of people was there's some really jobs out there. You can make a lot of money doing things if you don't mind getting dirty. And both of the boys came out of that jamboree and said, Dad, that's what I want to do. And Andrew's an incredible auto tech and just got another promotion. He's always like the man of the month and
employee of the month. He was yesterday.
Yeah, he was yesterday. And then our son that's not to be named discovered welding and
in his senior year of high school after wanting to be
he wanted to be an astrophysicist.
Yeah.
And I remember going to a college career or one of those college fairs, and you're walking around. I was like seeing all the colleges he was looking at, and he came up to me and he said, "I really like this University of Alabama at Huntsville. It's got a good rocket program and yada yada." And he looked at Purdue.
And he's like so smart that he tested off
like
the charts.
Yeah. Really, really smart kid. But what's interesting is he said, Dad, do you realize that I'm going to have to go to school, not just for a master's, but for a doctorate to even do what I want to do in the field? He goes, yet if I go to trade school, I can be working in 2 years. And for him, that made a lot of sense. And then he discovered welding. And then he found his identity. He loves being a welder, and he works in a great shop with a bunch of great guys and has fun. And I think our kids have taught us a lesson. We may be terrible parents in some people's eyes that our kids didn't go to Harvard, like my brother, or that they didn't come out of school.
They didn't succeed in a lot of avenues that I think the place that we live really focus on.
Yeah. I think college is
sports and academics.
Yeah.
That kind of thing where they're very pressured in this area. But they came out as well-rounded human beings. At this point, at 23 and 26, those boys are well-rounded human beings.
Well, but I did say to you when I remember Andrew was in first grade and had the bad grade, or second grade, and you were all upset about it being a teacher.
And that was when we lived here, yeah.
But I said to you, I said, look, if my son, I don't care I don't think anybody's going to remember what grade he got in second grade. But I said, if my son's a 10-year 4-H member, an Eagle Scout, goes to church, and get part of the youth group, he wasn't actually part of the youth group very long, but if I just want a good kid, I want him to be happy, and I think our kids are happy. Now, we talk about some other families. Like we realized when we put Julianne into homeschool that we are not like those homeschool parents.
We are so not the homeschool family. I
some
totally
of these
failed.
Kids, oh my gosh. And they're great.
That
parents.
Was a bad experiment.
Yeah, but we felt like horrible parents. Cause I remember the first time we went to like one of the homeschool parent functions and all the parents were together and like they're watching some, I don't know, Benji movie or something like that. Some G-rated movie in the gym at that church. And everybody was all happy and they all looked nice. They were like wearing nice polos and nice pants. And it's like, what's happened to our kids? Like, our kids are
made
just
us feel a little bad.
Well, yeah, but they were like perfectly scrubbed parents. Now, I will tell you some of the, we've got some good friends that I taught the horseback riding stuff to. And I'm not going to mention their names, but their kids go to Heritage and they're just a great family. And like the more you're with them, the more you realize they're really that nice and they're really that great. And their kids are awesome and they love Jesus and they love each other. And it makes me sick because we don't have that. So like when they send me a card, it says, Dear John, they call me Uncle John. I look at the signatures. I'm like, this is the greatest. These kids are the greatest. All kids signed it. It wasn't like their mom and dad.
Man.
It wasn't like their mom and dad signed it. The kids actually signed the card to me and they hug me and they're nice kids. And we do live vicariously through other parents, don't we?
Absolutely, 100%. I look at kids and I think, wow, these parents must have it all together. But it's absolutely. But I also
want those parents. But like, I love it when my friends, like their kids do great things, and I want them to tell me more about it. I don't like. I go, keep going, keep telling me, because like I take pride in that. Because when your kid's the star football player, getting a college ride, or the valedictorian, we didn't get that. We didn't get the honor roll.
No, but you know what? It's in Scouts. Remember his leader. What was it, Roscoe, that told you? He said, you know what, your kid is a great leader when you are not around.
That's true. Yeah, my kid's a great leader when I'm not around. And what's, we started a business 6 years ago with the older son. There's a thing in the autism community about sheltered employment. What's basically when Andrew graduated high school, he was not into college. And it was not a good fit for him, but he was also not employable at 18 years of age.
Which was hard for us because we both come from college backgrounds, and to think that our kids were not choosing what we wanted them to choose and what was expected for them to be chosen here in this particular area where we live, it was almost like we were shunned in a way, like, what, your kid's not where's he going to school? Oh, he's not going to go this year. Well, is he just taking a gap year? No, this is the path that he's chosen. He's looking for, he's looking for a job. He's looking for something.
But the
to
great thing
do.
is about sheltered employment, though, is like I would not have let my kid go work for somebody else because he was not employable at that time. And I remember,
Yeah, and
so
he
the
didn't
whole
have the social skills at
right.
that point.
But the whole thing about sheltered employment is parents helping find another parent or somebody else who can start a business with them, get them a job where they can have somebody who understands their child and that they can give them some leeway and help them kind of grow through that. And so I had the great idea of opening a business with my son. And we did a partnership with our local county here to open up a horse barn. The county had built a horse barn and wanted us to run it. And I never will forget, as soon as I mentioned that to you, Suzanne, you were so supportive of that idea.
Oh my God. I
You
was
said, this
so
is the
mad.
best idea you've ever had, John.
I thought I could just dig a hole and bury you in the ground right outside next to the deadline.
No, what's funny is
outside.
I was
mad.
sitting in that rocking chair right there, and you said, "You can't do this. How is this going to work? You're going to be out of town. You'll be someplace.
You know what? It was going to be me. It was going to be me in that car going down there at midnight when some horse got an incident and was hurt. And was it? Yes, it was for the first year.
Well, for the first year. Well, and I will tell you, the greatest thing about this whole thing, number one, we've had a great partner in the county that they did this partnership with us. And I don't think we'll be running the horseback riding business forever, but we started K-Trails. John, Andrew, and I started working together. And, we had Andrew, when he was a youth, was diagnosed with ADHD with oppositionality, which
oppositional defiant disorder.
Thank you. And which basically, and I was his trigger. I was the one that always would bring the anger, and we had a really tough
relationship.
Yeah. Number one, I'm really glad that God has brought such healing to our relationship, and even through this job, it gave us something to work together on. In that first year, I was really involved. I tried to be involved as much as possible, but there were times when I remember things were going bad. He'd call and say, "I can't believe you're not here. You need to get here." Blah 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 blah. And then I would not go there on purpose so that he would learn how to handle those situations. And I'm so glad we had certain young girls that worked there. I think about Joanna and some of those others that worked there. Well, heck of all of them. Katie and Allison, all these different people, Natasha, whoever was around, who really were gracious to him to learn. And the one thing I remember, so the first year I was heavily involved. Second year I pulled back. Third year he didn't even want me around the barn because he was running the barn.
Well, y'all got in such. I mean, you were butting heads so bad at one point that.
But the thing that I really learned through that though is that he learned how to deal with customers. We never thought that he'd be good with people. He learned how to talk to people. We found out he's really good with kids.
Yeah.
And he was really good with kids, and kids liked him, and he was good with the vets, and he was good with the hay vendor, and he was good with the farrier.
He just had to be given an opportunity to show those attributes of his personality that really shined.
But his biggest management problem?
Girls.
Yeah, managing girls between the ages of 16 and 24. And I told him, I said, "Son,
that's bad news, man.
I said, son, if you can figure that out, you can do anything in the world." But anyway, so he ran that barn for 4 years, and then Natalie came into our life, and the two of them started working together.
Natalie's awesome. You got to tell the story. You got to tell the story about Natalie. So Natalie and John Andrew had not been dating very long.
Well, let's back up a little bit. Andrew dated a girl, broke up with the girl, or she broke up with him, whatever the situation is. And then he kind of started dating. No,
everybody.
Oh my gosh. It was like we heard about a girl out in Brownsburg. We heard about a girl on the south side.
It's quite the revolving door of girls.
I went to New York with them to the Maker Fair and checked in the hotel. I was all excited. I'm going to be with my kids for 3 days. And we checked in the hotel, and John Andrew's leaving 30 minutes later. So where are you going? He goes, "I'm going to go see some girl." I'm like, "What you were in New York City?" He goes, "Yeah, I met her at the World Scout Jamboree." And he was gone.
He was quite the ladies' man.
And he was playing all these, and he'd like this.
He's good looking.
He is good looking, and he kind of the long hair, kind of
mysterious and all the things.
Anyway, we found out about this one girl, Natalie, that he kept kind of talking about. And he wouldn't bring her around. He wouldn't let us meet her. He wouldn't tell us anything about her. And then I was out of town, and you called me and said, "I got to meet Natalie." And I said, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome." I said, when can I get to meet her? And you said, "Well, I don't think he's going to invite us, but I understand she's going on a horseback ride this Sunday." So the great thing about running a horse barn for a young, what was he, 22 at the time, 21 maybe?
No, he's, maybe 22.
Anyway, so 21, 22. When you're running a horse barn that is surrounded by women and women love horses, he had plenty of girls to date through that time.
He was not
So when we heard about Natalie, we assumed that Natalie was a horse girl that he met at the barn.
Yeah.
Or somebody who went on a ride. So we go out there, and our son, first off, I should tell you, he's an old soul. like when you walk into McDonald's and see the old farmers sitting there with their hats, kind of having a cup of coffee and talking at 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's totally him.
Totally him. If you go to like Jim Dandy or Bob Evans or Cracker Barrel, that's him. He's sitting there having his breakfast and just kind of enjoying the day. That's him. He's an old soul. Well, so we sneak out there Sunday because we found out she was going on a ride like at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So we just kind of showed up and we see this girl who's got the greatest smile, but she's
so bubbly and fun.
But she's on a horse and she's freaking out. Like
bouncing up
like
and down,
freaking out, like oh my gosh. And I stopped. I said, stop. Don't you know how to ride a horse? Didn't you meet here at the horse barn? She goes, no, I work at Bob Evans. I sell pancakes.
She's bouncing all the way down.
Well, what's funny is she went off on the trail and we looked at each other and said, yeah, him meeting a girl at Bob Evans totally makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that she brought him pancakes, the one meal that he eats. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. He liked it. But what's great about Natalie, so then she learned how to ride a horse.
Yeah, she learned something new, and
she started working there. She started working there, and she's sweating and working hard and doing all the work there. And they've done a great job at the barn for the past couple of years. And I'm not allowed to go around there. I have a horse up there, so I sneak up there and see my horse every now and then. But we're really proud of them. But if you have any sort of kids on the spectrum, you might want to consider the sheltered employment thing because it did great. Because after 4 seasons, and he realized that he wanted to get married, and he was in love, and I said, son, you'll never be able to pay for a house or have a family running this horse barn. It's a great way to lose money. It's not a great way to make money.
Yeah, and it was okay for us, but for him starting a family, we had to really sit down and say,
but I was proud of him because,
insurance.
But working at the barn, he's a hardworking kid. And then, so then he went and put his name in. He wanted to go into auto tech. And the best way to get into auto tech is to start in the tire stores because they're looking for people and they'll pay for you to get your ASC certification, all that kind of stuff. And so he went and applied for 4 jobs at 4 different tire centers, from Firestone to Discount Tire to whatever. And all of them wanted to hire him.
Kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, but all of them, every one of them offered him a job. Mm. And he chose one that he really likes because it's a family-owned company, and he's just doing fantastic. But I think that's the great thing about the sheltered employment. It gave him the opportunity to learn, to make mistakes. I would have fired him. I wanted to fire him. How many times?
Well, there were many times that you were not allowed at the barn together.
So anyway, long story short,
no point.
I totally believe in sheltered employment. I think it's a great thing. And then even Jay Daniel, his first job, the guy who runs J&D Auto Machinery, Gene, this is a shameless plug. If you have a car or a truck, diesel or auto, please take it to Gene because they're incredible.
They're amazing.
And Gene
can fix anything.
When he first met Jay Daniel, he came out and he goes, that kid likes to weld. I was like, yeah. And I said, how long's he been doing it? He goes, oh, he's been going for several hours. But Gene, from the very first conversation, totally got that Jay Daniel would need a little extra, just a little extra attention to get ready. And now he's making Gene money being a welder and doing a good job. So it's important to find those people in your lives. Let's talk about our kids being old enough to drink. So when John Andrew turned 21.
This is good. Yeah.
Well, John, first of all, why do our kids not drink? Because it's like
they don't like it.
I always thought that it'd be fun to hang out and have a beer with the boys.
Well, John Andrew does. He likes his certain things, but
he likes sweet stuff. Like when he first started drinking,
he likes Shiner a lot. He bought Shiner today. Yeah.
Well, but when he first started drinking, I remember he went and bought like a
frou-frou drink like you. You like girly drinks.
I don't drink seltzers.
Whatever, you're just such a girly drink.
He's like
if it's got an umbrella, you're gonna drink it.
I do like umbrellas, but he drinks like mules and stuff like that.
Yeah, he got that today too.
And but he likes the real sweet stuff. I remember when
he turned 21. Remember we were in
Italy.
Italy, yeah, and you were like,
it's your 21st birthday. We're going to go to a bar. And we all went there. And I said,
we didn't go to a bar. We went to like a big outdoor pizza place.
Yeah, but they had beer and stuff and wine. I said, let's have a beer together, son. And he gets it. And he's looking at us like we're total losers. He says, you can drink in like Italy when you're 16.
16, yeah.
Yeah, but we're Americans. It was like that Chevy Chase kind of European vacation kind of thing. But he kind of had a sip of it and didn't really want to drink. But I do remember when Pies and Pints first opened down here, and we took his buddies. It was Ryan and Kurt and all those guys, and all of his buddies showed up, and they're all 21, 22 at this time. And I said, guys, get something to drink. I'll buy you a drink, anything you want. And they've got all kinds of craft beer, like all kinds of great stuff. Like hundreds of different kinds of beer. And his best friend Kurt looked at the board and goes, I'll have a PBR. and the guy sitting at the bar turned around and said, son, when somebody offers to buy you a beer in your craft beer place, you don't order PBR. But
they didn't know any better.
No. Well, I think So we're not homeschooled parents. We
No,
failed at
we're
that.
definitely not the
And
homeschool
we're also
parents.
not the crunchy,
No, granola
kinda
parents. No, we're not that either.
raising free range kids, because we do have some rules around our house. I mean, like if they're growing up in our house, they need to go to church.
We got one who's breaking that rule all the
Yeah,
time.
we do have that. But anyway, we're trying. So we've talked a long time. About
You have talked a long time.
30 minutes. Yeah, talking about our failure as parents. But what do you think? I mean, let's close this on a high note. What makes a great parent? I mean,
I think
think
what
about the
makes
people in our lives. Who do you like? Who do you think of when you think about they're doing a great job?
Well, I think what makes a great parent is understanding your kid, because I feel like every kid is different. You can't cookie cutter a kid. You know, not everybody's going to go to college. Not everybody is going to major in business. Not everybody's going to do that. You know, it's okay. Jules, I've got a sweet spot for this because she's my one kid that kind of follows after my heart. And
she's our artsy one, by the way.
yeah, she loves theater.
So the same way the two boys are self-sufficient and have great trade jobs, Julianne's going to go study history and screenwriting, and which means that while she writes her screenplays, she'll probably be working.
Broke.
Yeah, she'll probably be working at Starbucks. But
that's okay though, because I love it. I mean, I'm like living vicariously somehow through that, because those are all things that I loved, all things I did in college, all things that I wanted to do, you know.
Well, I think the important thing too for our kids, and you may think we're terrible parents, but I really believe this. We put so much pressure on our kids today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
not us.
No,
we don't put a lot of
just
pressure.
Society. I love the gap year concept. I love the fact that kids can take a breather, because just making it through high school today is hard. There's so much pressure on these kids. There's so much pressure on them to perform. You look at suicide rates, you look at depression, anxiety, all the kind of stuff.
And we can talk about that at a different time, because we have definitely been through all of that.
But the whole point is there's so much pressure. And I think like when Julianne, her senior year, I think one of the best things that she kind of came to was like, I'm going to go to community college for the first year at least. And that
was her decision.
It was, but we need to tell our kids, life is not a race. Like you don't have to go. You don't have to go to college right away. You don't have to, know what you're going to do right when you go in. You don't have to get out in 4 years and get a job. It's like life's not a race. Everybody's on a different pace. And, when Andrew was working at the barn and running a business, all of his buddies were going to college and they were in 4-year colleges. Mm-hmm. And I remember him saying to me one day, he says, yeah, they're going to college, but I'm learning how to run a business. Like he learned how to make payroll. I'm proud of the fact that we never missed payroll one single time during mm-hmm. the startup of the barn. He learned about that. He learned how to manage, vendors, and he learned how to manage customers. And it was a different kind of education. Then Jay Daniel went to college. He went to 2 years in college, got
he got all of his certifications. Yeah, he got all of his certifications in 18 months, which is really fantastic. Quick.
But Julianne, I think she'll probably be in college for 6 years because
for what she wants to do, probably.
Yeah, because she wants to be a screenwriter and she wants to do the history, and that's okay. And I think sometimes, especially for kids who are going into the creative arts, if they're songwriters, if they're screenwriters, if they're, any sort of, they have to have life experience too, and they have mm-hmm. to have some failure, and they have to, we have to. I think letting our kids fail is the hardest thing.
Oh, it absolutely is, because I just want to go in and fix everything, and especially having kids on the spectrum where you go in for your IEPs and you go in for the meetings with the teachers. I'm a sweet girl. I'm a sweetheart. Unless you mess with my kids, and then I'm gonna eat you alive.
Yeah, Mama Bear definitely does come out.
I will eat you up, and you don't mess with my kids, and that's hard to let them deal with those things. We're letting Julianne right now deal with all of her school, and she just comes to us and says, "Okay, I need, this and these are the classes I'm taking," and it's very hard for me because I want to get in there and I just want to do it for her, but it's important for her to do that by herself.
Well, and the whole helicopter mom thing, I mean, it's our society encourages us to be involved. And
there's a difference between being involved and taking control.
Well, but we talk about being terrible parents. One of the rules that I have at the barn with the kids is I don't want to hear from your parent. Like whenever I put the job postings out there, if I get something from a mom saying, oh, my son would be really good at this job, or my daughter would be really good at this job, or you should hire my daughter, I'd say, well, let your kid reach out to me. Last year, we had one of these moms that sent me, would text me about, her kid's hours. And we've had a couple of these moms. And
I wouldn't doubt it.
well, no, we've had a couple of these moms one mom actually, and I can't mention too much about this because, she is kind of known in this community, but she called me and said, you need to tell my daughter this, 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 this. And she thinks that I'm calling you and telling you that you need to hire her or you need to use her more. And I'm like, I'm out of this relationship. Like, I don't know why, as her employer, you think that I should be the one, communicating from your kids. So, like, I want our kids to fail. I want our kids to succeed on their own.
We want them to just fall flat on their face when they come back home to mama.
I hate to tell you, I'd rather have a kid that falls flat on his face than you going in there and saving their ass all the time, because they do learn more that way.
And that's real hard.
And
it's real hard for me because I just want to do that all the time.
So if you're the person who's writing what to expect what to expect when you have a 25-year-old, write a chapter on letting your kids fail, because it is hard. And I tell you, the other thing, like our son, Andrew, he and Natalie bought a house, and we're so proud of them. When they first got married, they moved into a neighborhood and did a rental, and they realized right off the bat that they were not neighborhood people, that they didn't like the homeowners association, and they didn't like, first off, Andrew has a car collection, I would say. And
sort of.
Yeah.
A small collection.
Well, and when I say car collection, it sounds like kind of a Meekum Auctions or a Barrett Jackson.
No.
He collects junk cars. So, like, the worse the car, the better. And I don't know, maybe I fed that by giving him a Yugo for his
wedding gift. Yeah, his wife loved that.
Yeah, well, then I had to give him a second Yugo to make the two Yugos together make one Yugo. So,
yeah.
But anyway, he's got a big truck and different cars and stuff. So the neighborhood didn't really work for them. So they wanted to buy a house, and they're really good at their budget, and they're doing a great job. And then this is one of those things, though, as a parent, we want our kids to get ahead in life. And I don't necessarily we don't have the means, nor do we really think we should buy them a house. But did we do too much by helping them on their down payment? I mean, I'm just trying to think that, like, should that be a chapter of the book? Like, I think it was such an incredible blessing to be able to help our kids.
Well, I mean, your dad helped us.
Absolutely.
Your dad did that for us, and we're just,
so,
you learn.
And I don't know how kids can be self-sufficient today. I honestly don't. Like, when you're 24, 25 years of age, if you have to move back home, so be it. It's like, and if your parents have to help pay your cell bill, your insurance, I think it's impossible for kids today at 25 to be, maybe I shouldn't say impossible, because some kids absolutely knock it out of the park and do it at that age. But
think about us at 25. Think about us at 25.
Hey,
what were we doing at 25?
We were digging in our couch for change to see who,
That's right,
who
for
came
McDonald's hamburger.
Yeah.
If I could find $1, I could get a hamburger.
No.
Yeah, we worked, what, 5,
we got
6 jobs
married at
between
23 and 22. So by 25, we had made it.
We had made it.
We had real jobs by then. But anyway, enough about our kids. I love being a terrible parent with you.
No,
I
love being a terrible parent with
thanks.
you.
We have failed
We have failed dramatically.
and the fact that our kids never leave the house. If you wonder why we're doing a podcast, it's so we can be alone. And we've got the dogs in the crate and the kids in their room. We kind of lock the doors.
And the dog is kind of getting testy. She's tired. Yeah.
But anyway, I love being a terrible parent with you. And I hope that if you made it this far, thanks for joining us. I'm John, my wife, Suzanne.
Sometimes we'll be funnier.
Yeah. Today really wasn't a funny show, but maybe episode 3 will be. But if you do want to follow Suzanne and I, we both have, we're on Facebook and Instagram, even though you never really do Instagram.
I'm supposed to. It's supposed to, like, you do one and the other one's supposed to do it, but I never do it.
But I sure would love it if you guys would join us for episode 3. I promise we'll put some jokes in there next time, but this time we had to talk about being terrible parents. So anyway, have a great night. Thank you.